Danny Flexon here for Seconds Out with Daniel Glynn, producer of the new documentary I Am Duran, about, of course, the legendary Roberto Duran. Just tell us, first of all, if you will, why Duran was because there's so many famous fighters out there, there's three more just in the Four Kings era. Why was Duran the one that you wanted to focus on?
Well, I think Duran's story is as much to do with the story of modern Panama as it is the personal story of a fighter's journey. There are many incredible stories about fighters in poverty working their ways up to become world champions, but they don't always have this huge cultural significance angle and element, and that's what Duran has in spades. He's a hero in Panama. He describes himself in the film as a god, and I think that's really interesting because it opens up another discussion about politics. We can talk about General Noriega, we can talk about the Panama Canal, so it's just another element that sort of adds sort of weight to the story.
How did you go about getting some of the talking heads? Because there were some real high-level people there, not just in boxing, but in politics and history. And how did you kind of approach those guys and get them to take part? Was it the love for Duran that kind of compelled them to come in?
I think you're right. The respect and the love Roberto Duran still commands. That his legacy he's a hero to a lot of people. I mean, Mike Tyson's in the film, Sylvester Stallone's in the film, Robert De Niro's in the film, Lennox Lewis. I mean, Ricky Hatton. There's a lot of people in the film, but I would like to say it's a credit to the production and the people that we have with us to help facilitate those things. But really, if you pick up the phone and say we are telling the definitive story of Roberto Duran, would you like to be involved? You're kind of nearly there already, because they genuinely love him and admire and respect him, and they want to be a part of that. So I think that's a lot to do with it. I'd love to take the credit for it, but I think that's as much to do with Roberto as anything else. Yeah.
What about the guys that are involved in the Panamanian political side as well? How open were they to kind of talking about the cultural and historical context of what was going on at the time, rather than just Roberto himself?
Well, that was very important. That's one of the reasons they wanted to come on, because they want to talk about Panama. You know, it's their country. These are people of significance in Panama. We were blessed with the politicians and the people in power there that wanted to talk. Again, that's as much to do about the love they have for their country, but also the love they have for Roberto. We got General Noriega's last interview on camera in this film, because I believe it within 6-7 months of our recording that interview, Matt, the director, and Pat, the other producer, went over to see Noriega in prison and got this interview, and it's an intrinsic part in the film, very important, very significant to Panama, very significant to the story of Roberto, personally as well. And we got the last interview. So again, the reason he came on, because we were talking about Roberto. That's what he wanted to talk to. That's what he wanted to talk about. It's all roads lead to Roberto.
I'm tempted to say getting Noriega was something of a coup, but I'm not sure that's the right choice of words in this instance. How much did... Yeah, indeed. How much did you personally learn about and come to respect the achievements of Duran during making this film?
A huge amount of respect. I think he's pretty... Sylvester Stallone says it in the film. This was a time when dinosaurs ruled the earth. This is the era of the Four Kings. And he is still spoken about and revered for the talent and his achievements to this day. He's still cited by boxers, young and old, as one of the best. And I think that's why we were able to tell this film in this way, with these people involved.
While there's a lot to love about the historical context and some of the kind of wider scene in which Duran was placed, just most people watching this video, because we are Seconds Out, are going to be boxing fans. Just kind of tell them why they should watch the film.
I think if you're interested in boxing and you're interested in hearing a lot more about why Roberto Duran is still a headline and is still talked about and is still a hero, not just in Panama, globally, you should see this film. I think one of the things that I wanted to say as well is that we wanted to make a film that appealed to boxing fans, of course, but also appealed to a lot of other people as well. People that might be more interested in the political angle and the people that we've managed to secure in the making of it. We want it to be a film that boxing aficionados are going to get a lot out of, but I'm hoping that people that might not be so into boxing still are engaged by the story and the power of Roberto Duran's story.
And just before we let you go, tell us first of all how people can watch the film and also how they can follow you guys on social media.
Sure. So the film is out for digital download in the UK June 3rd. The hashtag on Instagram is IamDuran, and on Twitter. You can download the film on iTunes. It's on Sky, I think it's Sky Box Office, Sky Store, sorry. And various other digital channels like Amazon, so on and so forth. Are you global or is it UK focused? Okay, so in Panama it's in the cinema, so it's got a 6-week run at the moment. That's what's happening at the moment, and it's obviously, surprise, surprise, doing great guns there. In the States is out on June the 4th. Again, digital platforms. That's the main focus at the moment. What was the other part of the question?
Or is the social media? But one thing I haven't asked before I let you go, and it's remiss of me.
The production company is Ad Hoc Films. The director's Matt Hodgson. I'm Daniel Glynn, and the hashtag. I said hashtag already. I am Duran. Yeah.
One thing I didn't ask, and which was remiss of me, what's Roberto's own reaction been to the film? I'm sure you've spoken to him about it. What's he make of it?
We think he likes it a lot. Yeah, there is a language barrier sometimes, but we've heard great things. He's been very supportive of the film, and he at the premiere in Panama last week. He was there, saw the film on the big screen, and was very complimentary about it. So yeah, we're delighted. Obviously it's a little worrying for us. It's quite an important story for
national treasure, isn't it?
Well, exactly. Telling someone's story of that significance is a tough ask, and thankfully he seemed to like it, which is great.
We liked it too. Congratulations on a great piece of work, and we really appreciate your time.